You know how we've been talking about divestors on our channel, right? Well, now we got to talk about it in reverse. What happens when a black man divests? Or I don't know what the terminology would be when it comes to a black man, because pretty much the divestors are mainly women. So I'm not sure exactly what that would be called for a man. But that's what we're going to be talking about today with the case of this man right here, whose name is Christian Obumseli. Obumseli. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name correct or not. And his girlfriend, whose name is Courtney Tailor. Now, the story goes is that Courtney Tailor, who we can clearly see is an obvious PC woman, stabbed her boyfriend, who was Christian, to death. Like it said that she stabbed him, I believe, a few times, but we do know that he is dead. But it gets even more eerie, or a little bit more interesting and more fishy on her part, because of claims that she made that most likely aren't even true. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this article that's coming from BSO or Black Sports Online, because I tried to find the most recent article, because there's several other articles that have been posted, but I figured let me read the most recent one, because that's the one that will probably have more information. It was posted 8 hours ago, and I'm recording this on April 7th, 2022. This is quite a story. There are many more pieces to the puzzle that will have to fall into place before we truly know what happened before, during, and after the death of Christian Toby Obumseli. Let's start with how Obumseli died. According to CBS Miami, it was a horrible death. New details are emerging about an alleged murder inside one Paraiso in Miami's Edgewater neighborhood. CBS 4 spoke with several residents, and they say they recently received an email about a domestic incident. It did not provide further detail. CBS 4 has since learned from Miami PD that a man was stabbed at the location on Sunday night, and by speaking with friends that knew the victim, the man killed was 27-year-old Christian Toby Obumseli. He died after being transported by Miami Fire Rescue to JMH's Ryder Trauma Center. We now have further details from friends of Obumseli, who claim the person who stabbed him was his girlfriend, Instagram and OnlyFans model Courtney Tailor. Here's what they said about the incident. First off, I don't know how a lot of these men end up with women like this. That's just a recipe for disaster. And we can clearly see what happened right here. It seems as though this story is being silenced. Courtney Tailor killed her boyfriend Christian Sunday night in their Miami apartment. She's using the Baker Act, so the news can't release her name. It's not confirmed whether or not she killed him in his sleep or if he was awake, and this was during an altercation. What we do know is that she did stab him and took his life. Please don't support her in buying any of her content, and as the story unfolds, we will share more. Just want to make sure the media doesn't make Christian out to be the bad guy. We're speaking on this because my boyfriend and I were closest to them in friendship, and after talking to their family, it seems as though they were in the dark about how toxic their relationship was and all the abuse that happened leading up to this. And it says, if you are unfamiliar with the Baker Act, here is a brief definition. The Baker Act is a Florida law that enables families and loved ones to provide emergency mental health services and temporary detention for people who are impaired because of their mental illness and who are unable to determine their needs for treatment. People who require the use of the Baker Act have often lost the power of self-control, and they are likely to inflict harm to themselves or others. It is important that the Baker Act only be used in situations where the person has a mental illness and meets all the remaining criteria for voluntary or involuntary admission. It does not substitute for any other law that may permit the provision of medical or substance abuse care to persons who lack the capacity to request such care. So she's trying to implement that she had some kind of, I guess, a mental breakdown, and it caused her to snap. I don't believe it. That's too convenient for her, especially as a PC woman. Because of this, according to Hollywood Unlocked, the cops are refusing to release her name to the public, but of course now we already know what her name is. A family is seeking answers after a young man was stabbed to death in his Miami home by his girlfriend, Christian Toby Obumseli. was reportedly stabbed to death by his girlfriend, Courtney Tailor, who boasts an OnlyFans and 2 million Instagram followers. Police are calling the incident a domestic dispute, and Tailor is being held for mental evaluation. Here's where it gets even stranger. The murder happened on Sunday, April 3rd. Tailor, or someone with access to Taylor's OnlyFans account, has posted content to her page even after the murder. Reports are she was released on bond and then sent to a mental facility. When we have more details, we will let you know. And then all of it does is really post different images or content that was, I guess, was posted to her OnlyFans and various, I guess, other social media accounts after the incident. If she did that, that doesn't sound like someone to me who needs to be using the Baker Act. And she's getting free range, or as Harvey says, a wide berth, because she's a PC woman. And they'll probably look at it, oh, there's no way that she could have possibly did this. Because look at her, she's a delicate flower, but all she has is, 2 million Instagram followers and a hefty OnlyFans account that apparently or allegedly that she posted to after her boyfriend's brutal murder, in which she was the only one there when he was killed, when he was murdered. Now, there's something else that was mentioned in other various comments or things like that, I guess, that people found out. And they said that apparently she called the police 7 times. 7 times. I'm sitting here saying to myself, if she called the police 7 times, then hold on, let me rephrase that. She calls the police 7 times. Let's put this in perspective. This is a black man right here with a white woman. Things would have definitely taken a turn for a difference. And they said that there was a domestic dispute. He probably knew if he raised his hand to, even just raised his hand to her, it wouldn't have looked good on his part. And she probably knew that. Let's put all the cards on the table. PC, these Karens out here, they know the privilege they have, especially when it comes to the interactions with black people, especially black men. They know what could happen to a black man if something happens to them, or if they just cry wolf. They know that. So I could not possibly believe or bring myself to believe anything that comes out of her mouth. Would not believe that she is defending herself against anything, especially considering the history in America, in the U.S. in particular. On the flip side of this, I wonder, how did he feel about black people, specifically black women? Because we know how divestors are when it comes to, how they feel about black men. I just got to ask that question. I'm just curious. How did Christian feel about black women? Because allegedly, and this is just alleged, they pulled up some receipts about him and some things that he has said about black women. And let's just say they were probably more con than pro. Like I said, it's all alleged because I can't find any of these tweets. That's why I said it's alleged. So I'm just going off of, hearsay, quote unquote. But yeah, see what happens? This is exactly what we've been talking about. We know what we talked about with Lawrence Smith Fields, and what's the other one that happened last month? I forget her name. The one that had like 2 or 3 kids and went out with that white boy. And she ended up in a situation she did. And now we have this situation right here. Like I said, equal opportunity over here. But yeah, she's trying to use she's trying to get away with murder, in my honest opinion. She murdered this man. And I don't even think it was self-defense if she even tries to use that as a claim. And it's like they said she tried to use the Baker Act. I'm trying to figure out if I've heard of the Baker Act before because it sounds familiar. And and yet again, it's in Florida. They said that's a Florida law, which means it's apparently not anywhere else. I've never, I can't remember if I have heard of it or not. But yeah, we'll see where this actually goes, if it actually goes anywhere. Sometimes it's a good reason why I wait to put stuff up when they happen, because a lot more stuff end up coming out. So this is added on more to the whole situation involving the individual who was murdered by this woman named Courtney Tailor. And this is a clip or a small video that someone had of her apparently out at a bar after she did the deed, not too long after. Now the tweet reads, "Not this fool at Courtney Tailor being out at a bar in Miami, like she just didn't kill at Toby Obumseli a few days ago, but I thought you were mentally unstable and suicidal. It's the audacity for me." So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. Okay, so y'all just saw that right there. Now, it's crazy because it seemed like she got an attitude because she was being recorded. Like, you know what was going on. And now you see why she implemented that Baker Act, because that was her get out of jail free card. There it is right there. But hold on, because I have some more stuff to show you. Now, look at this picture right here that was obtained by TMZ, because you know they be on it. Now, look at her. She has on, looks like a bra and some pants of some, maybe some leggings of some sort, but look at the red stains on her body. That's not paint. Allegedly, that's blood. And I think that it actually is not, I think it actually is blood. That looks like a dog or a puppy that's sitting right there. And that's blood that she's covered in. And we all know whose blood that is. Let me continue. Now, these were some tweets that were obtained by Tariq on his not his Instagram, on his Twitter account, involving it says Toby Obumseli. It was involving him. And people turn into some Twitter detectives or some social media detectives when they want to find something. And all you got to do is type in a keyword and a name and you'll find everything you need. And these are all the tweets right here that date back a few years, like to 2012. I think I saw one that went back to as far as 2011. Now look at what he said. "Full of ignorant black women, the way black girls disgrace themselves on TV, at Tony Petroni Akata. Once again, I'm tired of these black girls in my government class." And then he put one here, says, "Why is there always that one ghetto black boy in the back talking throughout class? Get out, chill." Now, as you can see by these tweets, he not only had disrespect and contempt for black women, but he also had contempt and disrespect for black black boys, black men, just black people in general. Like, he wasn't black himself. But let's be real here. A lot of these people who come from the continent or other places like the Caribbean who share this same skin as we do not refer to themselves in the same lingo. So, like I said, it's a cultural divide. But there's more. This is dating back to 2011. This is "Want a white girl, #help. I can teach a white girl a little about the African culture. When the beautiful white girls at this, what is it, at Plant No East, I don't know what that's supposed to be saying, wear yoga or tights. White girls wearing white booty shorts everywhere. Now that's what I like." Then the next one says, "LOL, I love white people. Shit, me too, girl." You see, when you're reading stuff, when you come across stuff like this, now you can understand why people do not feel bad for him. Look at his mindset. Now you'll have some people to say, "Oh, he could have changed and everything like that." But this is who he ended up with. And that's who killed him. The same people who as he loved to kiss is the one that ended up taking him out. That's why I said, what makes him any different than a lot of these divestors? I mean, look at the stuff that he posted. Are we really going to sit up here and supposed to be really feeling bad for him? Granted, she shouldn't be walking around scot-free for what she did, but that's the privilege right there. And the thing is, a lot of these foreigners, these immigrants, whether they are, but those who share the same skin as us, they gonna have to learn how Dub S works. I was actually talking to Afro Elite about that the other day. I said there's a lot of black people who are living in America right now, or maybe even in the world, who do not understand how white supremacy works until it slaps them in the face. And then all of a sudden they'll know how it works then. And unfortunately, his came at he met his fate at the end of a knife blade.